Hey there, welcome to the Sign Me Up podcast brought to you by the experts at Kieffer Starlite. I'm your host, Hilary Kennedy with Market Scale, and today's episode is one that you do not want to miss because we're talking all things lighting retrofits. Energy savings, they offset the cost of these projects over time while improving light levels and eliminating maintenance headaches. So the benefits, they are impressive. And who doesn't want to eliminate headaches from their life, right? So I want to introduce our guest today who will walk us through Lighting Retrofit 101. We're starting with Steve Bourne, the Vice President of Client Services for Kieffer Starlite, and Daryl Foreman, who is the SVP of Sales for Principal LED, one of Kieffer's partners. So welcome to the show, Steve and Daryl.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having us.
All right, so we're going to start with the most basic question, and I'll start with you, Steve. What is a lighting retrofit?
So a lighting retrofit, what we would call, I guess, an LED retrofit, is typically an upgrade, to an existing sign when we want to update to a more efficient, affecting lighting source in your existing sign. So typically we see that with channel letters on your building, but it's not limited to that. We also do retrofits on cabinet signs for buildings, and then we also do retrofits for pylon signs and monument signs, so any ground signs and whatnot. So basically any sign that's illuminated, we can look to upgrade that. Your upgrades typically are from neon to LED when you're doing and considering an LED retrofit. However, there are some instances where LEDs have been around for a while, so you may want to update some of your older style LEDs to a more efficient type of LED to increase lighting and whatnot. So you may also have outages. So in your existing LED sign from an older style that you want to update. So the field work, I guess, to touch on that, the field work is going to include basically removing all the existing lighting elements that are in the sign, either that old neon, those old LEDs, transformers, power supplies, cleaning everything up, installing the new LEDs. Within the channel letter or cabinet, whatever type of sign it is, getting it all wired up and connected, and cleaning up the faces, cleaning up the signage and stuff like that, so everything looks new, and ensure it's lighting 100%. So that's basically it to kind of summarize it.
Well, and Steve touched on this a little bit, but Daryl, from your side of things, why would someone consider getting a retrofit?
Well, there's two important factors to consider. One is energy savings, and the other is savings on maintenance. But just as important as those hard numbers are, sometimes the soft benefits of LED is what will convince a customer to switch. The sign is the front line of a company's image, and no customer likes for their sign to be out. One benefit of LEDs is that they typically do not fail catastrophically like a fluorescent lamp or like neon. They will slowly fade over time, but that's a long period of time. Another benefit of LEDs is that they don't mind cold weather. Fluorescents and neon are gas discharge lamps, basically, and during periods of cold weather, they can dim as much as 50%, where LEDs maintain their brightness regardless of the ambient temperature.
Boy, that's nice. And with some of the crazy weather we've had in the past year or two, it's nice to know that you'll have something that can still perform well in cold weather. All right, so this question is for both of you. Some people might think that it's too much of a hassle and they believe that they have to just start over completely with a new sign. Can you tell me what are some of the benefits of a retrofit versus getting an all new sign?
Sure. So, a couple of the benefits obviously would be, if you're going with an LED upgrade, you're going to get a much more energy efficient sign. Your lighting is going to be a drastic change as far as the look that you get versus neon, as Daryl mentioned. So another benefit will be cost. Obviously, if you don't need a new sign, there really isn't any reason to get one unless you're doing a logo change or anything like that, which obviously some retailers work through. So, but having a company come out there and actually perform a survey for you and assess your signage, can determine if a retrofit is good for you, and so forth. So, there's other things associated with a new sign. A new sign, you've got freights, you've got permits, you've got, your installation costs, your removal costs. None of that is necessary when you're doing an LED upgrade. So the process is also quite a bit faster when you're doing an LED retrofit. It could take weeks compared to months when you're looking to install a new sign. So, those are some of the advantages to a retrofit and why you might want to do that.
Well, and Daryl, what do you think?
Well, Steve is right on all those points. Some things to consider, as he said, what's the age and condition of the current sign? If it doesn't need to be replaced, then why go to all that expense? Other things to consider would be, what will the landlord allow? Will the landlord allow a new sign? And what will the new municipality allow? What if the current sign is grandfathered in and a new sign's got to meet new size requirements or have other constraints that weren't there when the original sign went in? And of course, as Steve said, cost. What's the customer's budget?
Right. Well, and when you're kind of going over these things with someone, what are some practical tips for engaging a company regarding a retrofit?
I think the best advice that I can give is to reach out to a reputable national sign company, such as Kieffer Starlite, to kind of assess their signage in their program that they have right now. One of the things that we do is we survey your signage when you're looking for an LED upgrade. We're going to survey your signage, not only for the existing lighting that's in that sign if it needs to be replaced, but we'll take a look at any damage, that might have happened over the years, and as far as faded faces, delaminating trim cap, things of that sort. So, that's the number one thing I could say. Get a good national sign company like Kieffer Starlite. We can make those recommendations for you as far as the upgrade versus a new sign. So,
right. And Daryl, do you have any practical tips there?
Sure, just a couple. One is for the sign company and for the end user. There are some great ROI calculators out there that will show the customer how much they'll be saving, both in energy and in maintenance over a certain period of time. And there's also real energy rebates available to the end user that they should consider too when they start retrofitting.
That's great. Those are great tips. And I would love to hear about some industry examples of some successful retrofit scenarios. So Steve, do you have any that you can share?
Sure. We're actually working on one right now for a large retail customer of ours. So we started out, as I previously mentioned, we did a survey, an assessment of all their locations to determine, what we were going to LED retrofit for them. And then we also had several locations where we did some maintenance on the sign, such as replacing faces and whatnot. So we just completed a wave one for them of about 100 locations, and we've just been approved for wave two, which is about 200 sites. So this is something that's right in our wheelhouse here that we do a lot of for our customers. So, and that shows that it typically is worth the upgrade rather than, replacing your sign unless circumstances dictate otherwise. So.
Well, I love that because you've got energy savings, you're increasing your light source. I mean, it just sounds like it's all good things. So I really appreciate you both, Steve Bourne from Kieffer Starlite and Daryl Foreman from Principal LED. Thanks for joining us today on the show and educating us on the ins and outs of a retrofit. This was really helpful.
Thanks, Hilary.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everyone else for tuning in to this episode of Sign Me Up. If you like what you heard, you can check out more episodes of the show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We're going to be back soon with another episode. So until then, I've been your host, Hilary Kennedy. Thank you so much for watching.